Good evening, everybody. This is Thursday, August 13th, 2026 at 7 p.m., and this is a meeting of the Bolton Select Board. I will be filling in as chair for tonight's meeting. And the first item on our agenda is a public hearing where we would be considering the revocation of the annual Section 15 all alcohol liquor license that had been issued to Dagnalds Liquor at 25 Forbush Mill Road due to discontinuance of business for a period exceeding 6 months. Um, and I saw the notice of the public hearing as well as the abutters list. So I think the first order of business would be to entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Seconded, roll call, Bill,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. Um, and then before we get started, I just wanted to note we are down one member of the select board this evening. And in speaking with the town administrator earlier today, we just thought that it would probably be in everybody's best interest for the full contingency of the board to participate in the hearing. So my inclination would be to continue the hearing to our next meeting, Thursday, September 10th at 7:15 p.m. Bill, I don't know if you have a perspective on that.
I think that's a good idea.
Marie, before we act on the continuation, do we need to take comment from the public?
You can if you wish, you're not required.
Okay. If anybody's here who's going to participate in the public hearing, if you have anything that you want to say before we continue, otherwise we'll just continue it to our meeting on September 10th.
Mr. Chairman, may I?
Sure. Could you just state your name for the record and why you're here?
Andrew Upton, attorney for the licensee, who is also here in case we have any questions for him. Uh, uh, just so you know, we are actively marketing and engaged with a potential buyer. We are more than willing to come back on September 10th. But if it pleases the board, if we have transactional documents and or preliminary application documents, I assume we should file them before then, so they're on the record, just so you have a full picture of what's going on.
Yeah, I think that would be really helpful. If there are any documents or other materials that you would want to be sort of relying on or discussing during the public hearing, sending them to us before September 10th, I think would be really great.
We will do that. I can tell you for now, we have a potential buyer. He has put down a deposit. I have the deposit check right here as well as a signed offer, but we're working towards a PNS and all the other documents required. But I just wanted to be transparent that A, Mr. Green is working hard, and B, it's actually finally, I think, moving towards some success.
Well, that's really good to hear. And although we hadn't planned for another delay, maybe this shift to September 10th is helpful in that regard for your client.
Yeah, I think we're moving in a great direction now, and hopefully we'll have moved even farther by that time.
Great, thank you. Bill, so would you make a motion to continue the hearing to September 10th at 7:15 p.m.?
So moved.
And I'll second that. Roll call, Bill.
Yes.
And I am also a yes. And then I'd entertain a motion to actually, do we have to close the hearing, Marie? We've just continued it, so
Nope.
we're good. It's been a while since I was in this role, so I'm forgetting the procedural niceties, but we're good for now. And thank you, Mr. Upton, for participating.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Okay, have a good evening.
Thank you.
Our next agenda item, which we are about 10 minutes early for, so Jenny can let me know if we have the right folks either in the Zoom room or in the waiting room, but we were going to have a public hearing regarding Oaken Orchard's petition. But if they are not here and ready yet, I think that we could potentially move forward with one of the town administrator items or even the new staff introduction.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend continuing with the 7:15 hearing until 7:15 since it's posted for that time, but Matt Gargano has entered the meeting.
Great. Over to you, Marie.
All right. After a in-depth search for a town accountant, we have found an amazing candidate who has fit in terrifically well with the staff at Town Hall. Matt has an extensive background, a master's of science in accounting. Having tried the private sector, has made the jump to the municipal world, which he likes, and we really like having him here. So turning it over to Matt, I'm delighted to introduce you to the select board.
Thank you, Marie. I've had the pleasure of meeting some of you, but for those who I haven't yet, very nice to meet you virtually. And yeah, a little bit about me. I've been working in Town Hall for about 3 weeks now, and everyone's been incredible, amazing place to work. Yeah, I got my master's in accounting from Salem State, and then I spent 3.5 years working at a municipal auditing firm. So I spent that time going from city and town to city and town, just learning how they operate, their typical revenues and expenses, how they feed into the financials, and just getting a really good look at how cities and towns, how it all works. And after that, I spent a short stint at Maynard, actually right next door, as the assistant treasurer collector. And then now for the past couple weeks, I have been in Bolton, and so far it's been going great. Every day I'm trying to just learn something new. And yeah, the goal moving forward is to every day just keep getting a little bit better and better and to slowly improve the environment and the financial tracking and position of the town and doing everything I can to support them.
Great. Well, Matt, it's really a pleasure to meet you. I hope I get to meet you in person one of these days at Town Hall. I think it's a great group of folks that work in that building. I hope that that's been your experience so far. And we're really excited to have you on board. So, Bill, I don't know if you want to say anything, but I'll just say, Matt, if there's any way that I can be helpful, feel free to reach out to us and we'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, Matt, thanks for joining. Congratulations. And it's been a pleasure to meet you so far. We haven't spent a lot of time together, but I echo what Brian says. If there's anything that comes up that you'd like to discuss, feel free to reach out.
Will do. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks. Have a good rest of the evening.
You as well.
I think that we are still about 5 or 6 minutes ahead of our public hearing at 7:15. So I want to be mindful of when that hearing was noticed for. So if there's something else, Marie, that you wanted to preview as part of your town administrator report, we have a few minutes now.
The most notable thing is that today we were delighted to host Congresswoman Trahan, Speaker Pro Tem Hogan, Senator Kennedy, and representatives from MEMA, Ty and Bond, the contractor R. Bates and Sons, as well as the DPW director, who I wanted this to be his moment in the spotlight. We were delighted to be outside and under the pavilion. Interestingly enough, the DPW director knew every person there as he'd worked with them closely, and it was a great example of this collaborative federal, state, as well as local partnership. So a positive check on the box.
Sorry, I missed it.
With sandwiches and cider yeah, all good.
It was good event and beautiful weather too.
Yeah. What was most interesting is that the Congresswoman had also said that Bolton is punching above its weight in terms of securing grants and funding. Again, in large part, this is due to the efforts of the DPW director working in conjunction with the engineers and the culvert projects. So, that's the most cheery update. I can give you other updates if you'd wish. What's most notable for members of the public?
Sorry, Marie.
Okay.
One
Yep.
one thing Jenny's pointed out is that we do have Rob McKinney here regarding, I believe, the Neshoba Valley Pride event. So
Great.
if we wanted to take up that agenda item, we could do
Great.
so now.
We also have Charlie, I believe, is Oak and Orchard. So if you want to stay on schedule there.
I think the issue though is that because there were
Oh,
butters noticed for the public hearing, we do need to wait until 7:15.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, happy to weigh in on the Neshoba Pride if that
Great, thank
serves.
you.
Great. So I think we've submitted everything that is necessary for the rescheduled event on the 27th of September. We have an approved safety plan that includes the parade route from the school onward. We've talked to DPW. We have the porta potties all scheduled. The banner's been approved pending this discussion. And everything is set with Parks and Rec, and we're still working with Joel Bates to get parking at the school approved. So, but everything else is in order.
Great. Yeah, I reviewed the materials. And just to be clear, tonight, this is the request for the walking parade from 1 to 1:30 p.m.
Correct.
Bill, did you have any questions for Rob?
I did not now.
Great. So I would entertain a motion to approve Neshoba Valley Pride's request for walking parade from Emerson School to the Town Common on Sunday, September 27th from 1 to 1:30 p.m. prior to the rally at the Bolton Town Common.
So moved.
And I will second that. Roll call, Bill.
Yes.
And I am also a yes. Thank you, Rob, and please extend our thanks to Mary as well.
Will do. Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Rob.
All right, have a good evening.
You too.
And then we didn't have anybody here for the ALS request yet, did we?
I don't see him in the meeting yet.
Okay. Marie, we have 2 minutes.
sure. Actually, my announcement is more of a public service announcement for individuals, just letting them know. Early voting for the state primary, which is on September 1st, will begin Saturday, the 22nd, so not this Saturday, subsequent Saturday, from 9 to 1 at the town hall and through the following week, the 24th through the 27th during the regular town hall hours. We're also expecting, a turnout at the polls at Neshoba, but if you'd like to avoid the rush or just stop into the town hall, we welcome you starting on Saturday, the 22nd and through the following week, 24th through 27th.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Mhm.
I think I can get the public hearing opened at least by making a motion because we're coming up on 7:15. So I would entertain a motion to open a public hearing on the petition of Oak and Orchard located at 544 Wattaquatic Hill Road for the purpose of amending the entertainment license to allow outdoor entertainment pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 23.
So moved.
And I'll second that. Roll call, Bill.
Yes.
And I'm also a yes. I don't know if anybody could tell. I was like reading that really slowly to make sure we got to 7:15.
I was going to comment on your slow articulation.
All right, but here we are. So the public hearing is open. I see we have Charlie Mickle here as well. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. So thank you for submitting the materials for this. Would you mind just for the benefit of the public explaining what exactly
Yeah,
this?
so we're looking to do outdoor entertainment. We were looking to have a band there, and I tried to be a little proactive with the abutters. I made sure to the ones that were on the list. I went and talked to them one on one just to make sure everyone was okay. Because it is music. Some people like it, some people don't like it, and just wanted to make sure. And everyone I spoke to was great, and looking forward to it. The band that is coming, it's all music everyone would know. It's not, crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And so but it's a larger band than just, an acoustic gig outside. So I think that's what we needed to go for this, and having it outdoor. Uh, it's now next Friday, week from Friday. So
Yeah, it was a 1 day license for
yep,
Friday the 21st from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m.
yes, and realistically, we won't have them play that long. We're trying to figure out what's better, starting a little later, so we can have more of a dinner crowd, but we don't want to, even our direct neighbors, they have three younger kids, and wanted to be away, but they were great also, but I don't think we need to be playing until midnight.
Yeah, for sure. Um, Bill, any questions from you?
No questions for me.
I think it sounds great. Happy to entertain a motion to um, approve. Sorry, I just want to get my language right. Um, Approve the petition of Oak and Orchard to amend the entertainment license to allow for outdoor entertainment on Friday, August 21st from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m.
So moved.
Um, Actually, I'm sorry. I just wanted to make sure that I invited anybody else who's here for the public hearing. If anybody else has a comment or something that they'd like to raise before we vote on the motion. I'm not seeing anybody. Okay, so I'll second the motion and roll call Bill,
Yes.
and I'm also a yes. Okay, so motion is approved, and then I think the only other thing we need to do is to adjourn the public hearing. So do you want to make a motion for that?
Motion to adjourn the public hearing.
And I will second that. Roll call Bill,
Yes.
and I'm also a yes.
May I
Thanks
ask a
again to,
question?
oh,
Sorry,
sorry, Jen.
I should have asked it before you closed the hearing. Just for a point of clarification for me, if Charlie wants to have an additional event in the future, since you made it for the one date, what would that process be? Or is this amendment a loosening of the existing license, subject to no negative feedback coming in from the abutters? So my
So as
question is
I,
like, could he have future events?
yeah, so as I read this amendment to the license request, it was for a 1 day license. So I think that I think that if this goes well and there's not issues from the abutters, and he wanted to come back to consider sort of a permanent amendment to the license on, let's say Fridays from 6 to 10, um, we'd have to have a separate discussion. And I'm only just saying that because as an abutter, I might feel differently about a 1 night request versus if I get a notice like, oh, we want a permanent Friday night thing, that's a different. So I not opposed if everybody's cool with it, but I think we'd have to treat it separately. Did that answer your question, Jenny?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Okay. I hope that's okay to you, Mr. Mickle.
Yes, and I think we're also in the same. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
Make sure everyone's happy with it, and go from there. And again, in my mind, it's a little different having a full band as opposed to just an acoustic, you know, person inside or even out on the deck. We want to make sure everyone's happy with it, and then if I'd love to do it again, I'd love to say, oh yeah, it's a great idea. Do it 2-3 times a year or something. But let's see how this one goes, and make sure everyone's
Sounds
happy
good.
with it.
Yep. Okay, great. Thank you.
Thanks for
Thank you.
being a good considerate neighbor, Charlie.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
All right. Have a good night.
Thank you. You too.
Um, Still don't have a representative since we're running ahead for the ALS ride, correct? Okay.
He's not here.
We'll just plan to roll into any other aspects of the town administrator report as a gap filler. How does that sound, Marie?
That sounds fine. I can give you good news and then maybe not so great news. But under the good news, the Special Act alcohol, which I've been updating the board on for what feels like forever, has been signed by the governor and is actually the rationale for our hearing that we will be having at the next meeting at 7 p.m. So we now have the standard Massachusetts number of all alcohol on-site consumption licensure, which is great. Under other good news and fast breaking, the favorable report for the DCAM land was received and it had been scheduled for Senate passage today. Per Senator Kennedy's chief of staff, they will be getting through the enactment votes to occur on Monday, and then it will head to the governor. One thing just to keep in mind, actually two things. One of them is that this had been modified from when it was passed at the Bolton Annual Town Meeting. There is a provision, a final section for the town of Lancaster. As passed or as about to be passed, the town of Bolton has 180 days from enactment, so signature by the governor, to acquire the parcel. And under other good news, legislatively, the earmarks that have been held back by Governor Healy, the Fair Share Supplemental from fiscal 25, are available now, and the DPW will be filing for them, and they can be expended through June of 2028. Go ahead.
What's like the rough magnitude of those earmarks?
Each earmark is 100,000, and both within the same for culvert and bridge improvements. So, using the example of the Forbush Culvert 1 that we recently secured a $1.8 million grant for, that is considered to be a bridge based on the span and the size. So it's wondrous. It helps us with background engineering because, as the DPW director had said during the event today, we have a list of 20 high priority culverts. We have about 78, 79 culverts, but he is just working through that list. So that's very positive. Under the mediocre news, the temporary disinfection has been installed. The system startup and testing occurred today. There are still issues to work out between the plumbers and the engineers. Keep in the back of your mind, though, that the last water quality test for the public safety building and the library on July 21st, there was no evidence of bacterial contamination. So we're going through, we're installing the temp disinfection. The water is safe, although we haven't gotten the DEP, it is safe. But perhaps much like our Special Act alcohol, it's all going to happen. It's all going to pass.
Hey, Marie, sorry, I was just pulling open the can we go back to the earmarks,
Mhm.
the fair share thing? Because I was just pulling open the attachment you sent. This may not matter at all, but I just noticed that there was like there's those two earmarks that are printed on the page, but one of the municipality/agency indicates Boston, I think, as a
Yes, it
typo.
was put in under Boston with the language for Bolton.
Okay. So I just want to make sure
It's
some
us.
bureaucrat
Yes.
doesn't give.
It's us. Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So masterful. So that's that. But the temporary disinfection is sort of the bad news we're monitoring, and I have every expectation and hope that this will move forward. And then we'll move into the next phase, which is using the monies that had been appropriated at town meeting for the engineering design. On other project-related stuff, we have a discussion later on in the agenda for Forbush Culvert #1. So we'll cover that later on in the meeting. And the conservation agent continues working to get the bid specs together for the Bower Brook repair. As I'd alluded, the Town Building Task Force is meeting contemporaneously with the Select Board this evening as they're proceeding on their assessments of Town Hall and Houghton and scheduling site visits to neighboring town halls. We in the Town Hall are very grateful as we've been going through a series of seemingly every week on Tuesday, although this week it was Thursday. We are having leaking pipes requiring the water to be shut off, a plumber to be called in, and then additional work and repair on the plaster. We're grateful for the DPW. We understand they're trying to chase down why there are the pinhole leaks in the copper. In some part, it's by virtue of the age of the building. We'd had a celebratory moment at Town Hall on August 3rd, where two new reserve officers, Jeffrey Beckwith and Jonathan Burr, were sworn in by the town clerk. And I look forward to bringing them to the board at an upcoming meeting. In the interim, they're outfitted and taking shifts, and I look forward to having you meet them. And incidentally, tomorrow is the final day of the summer camp, and there's been positive feedback from participants. I'd followed up with the recreation coordinator and the chair of the Recreation Commission, seeking some sort of snapshot dashboard report to give to the board, just so that you can have a retrospective review of what happened this year, how many attendees. The enrollment continued steady through the summer. So it wasn't as if everyone enrolled just for the first week and, you know what I mean, or a one shot. But from what I've heard, and I haven't heard complaints, it has gone well. And Park and
Yeah.
Rec, yeah.
Um,
Go ahead.
just a quick thing, because I had also noticed a little bit, I think it was early this morning, there was a really kind post on the community Facebook page praising the camp quality experience, with a lot of parents chiming in to say that they agreed. And I was just wondering whether they do any formal feedback at the end of the camp that they collect so that we could review that. Not to make work if they don't already do it, but I'd just be curious to know whether we get feedback.
Don't know. I can follow up.
Great.
Good.
Can we pause there since we have
All good.
a representative for the ALS ride? Jenny, did you already let am I pronouncing it Mike?
Yes, it's
correctly?
Mike. Yep, thank you.
Hi, Mike. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Nice to be with you all today.
Thanks for joining. So you're here regarding a request to approve the use of roadways in Bolton for the 2026 Ride to Defeat ALS on September 19th. Do you want to say anything about that event?
Well, let's see. This is our 26th year running it. The town of Bolton's been tremendously supportive every year, and so far we've raised about 4.3 million over the years. So there's a lot of people that could use a lot of help that we're able to help. My brother passed away from it when he was 45 back in 2001. So it's dear to my heart. And we're looking forward to having it again and raising a lot of money to help other people.
I don't think I realized that about your brother before, so I'm sorry to hear that, and it's really nice that you're carrying this on in his memory.
Thank you. There's a lot of people helping out, so it's not
Yeah.
just, there's a great organization behind it. So
Yeah. So I believe we're still awaiting a certificate of insurance. Is
Yes.
that right?
and that's because it's from the ALS Association. They renew theirs every September 1st. So I could
Got
I think I forwarded the certificate that I received that I got for you last year, just so you could see it. And it'll be the same. And as soon as I get it early September, I'll forward it to Jenny.
Great. Perfect. Any questions, Bill?
No, not for me. Sorry, I was just looking at the route.
Great. Well, so I would entertain a motion to approve the request to hold a ride to defeat ALS using roadways in Bolton on Saturday, September 19th, 2026, contingent upon the receipt of a certificate of insurance.
So moved.
Second, and roll call, Bill,
Yes.
and I'm also a yes. So yeah, you're approved. We'll just get the certificate when it comes in and you should be all set.
Great. Thank you very much for the support. You guys have
Thank
been
you.
great every single year, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for doing your
Thanks for doing it.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Take care. Bye-bye. Okay. Hot potato, Marie.
Alrighty, back again. In terms of other things going on with operations, there's an antitrust lawsuit that is being filed both at the federal level as well as the local level against fire truck manufacturers and there's an allegation that the manufacturers had conspired to fix the prices, suppress production, artificially inflate the costs, and cause municipalities across the country to incur notable delays. The fire chief has completed all questionnaire materials related to Bolton's acquisition of I want to say the Marauder, Marauder, which was marked by the costs increasing and an incredibly long delay in acquiring the apparatus. The local contact who is leading this is Attorney Naughton, who had formerly been a state representative from Clinton, and he has given assurances that this is, unlike other class action or antitrust lawsuits, moving relatively quickly. So we shall see. The other news is that the conservation agent, in addition to working on bid packages and responding to resident inquiries, is now going to be reviewing the school district's approval of the building committee's approval, rather, of a conversion of the baseball field on Green Road to a turf field, which will also have additional lighting for additional light posts. To my point about the DPW, it's been a busy week in terms of, or a busy couple of weeks since we last had a select board meeting for addressing other issues at municipal buildings. There had been intermittent air conditioning issues at the public safety building. There had also been concern regarding the irrigation system at the soccer field. But simultaneously they were able to submit a grant for reimbursement for an HVAC evaluation for the library. As mentioned to you, Brian, the Town Building Task Force is meeting tonight. They have had a resignation of one member of their committee. What would be ideal is to get a direction that the board wishes to proceed in terms of filling that vacancy. They can definitely make quorum, but if I remember correctly, it had been oversubscribed.
Yeah. So can we pause on this for a second?
Mhm.
So my inclination would be to repost the vacancy, but with a very quick turnaround time, and to also reach out to the folks who had previously expressed interest to let them know that the vacancy, I think there's maybe 2 or 3 people, but we can act on this pretty quickly, I would think. But I do think it's good to post. Bill, how does that sound to you?
That sounds fair to me.
Shall do on that.
Okay, you don't need a motion. You just, okay, sense of the board.
That's just the sense of the board. The task force itself has split into subgroups. I think they're having a discussion tonight regarding whether this is going to be a formal subcommittee designation. One aspect that I've been involved in is securing time slots to visit neighboring town halls. And so on Wednesday, the 26th, a subgroup, including Jenny and me, will be visiting the town halls in Harvard, Stowe, and Boxborough. Both Stowe's historic town hall, and if you recall, then they ended up creating the town building and building the town building following their assessment of the town hall.
Yep.
Other dates just to put on your calendar, as mentioned at the last select board meeting, is on August 18th. The Conservation Commission will be meeting, discussing their analysis that they've been conducting over the past few months and entertaining likewise input from the public as they analyze causing or imposing a leash restriction as opposed to exclusively under control for the Bower Springs property. And the Transfer Station Committee had met earlier. They will have an update later on in the meeting, and their next meeting is going to be on September 14th. For other town financial related stuff, even though COVID seems a long time ago and ARPA funds have been required to be expended by the end of December, we have finally confirmed and finished our closeout, and this was accepted by the Treasury. Additionally, I had attended a new initiative that was announced by the governor in late July, which is an infrastructure program which is geared predominantly towards energy as well as rural communities. And it is intended to be a supplement to any federally funded projects. For example, should we be able to secure the monies through the Senate Appropriations Committee for the permanent disinfection, this would be a counterpart and sort of help us get over the hump. Keep in mind that project was estimated at the initial stages by the engineers at about 1.5 million. The amount of money that we would be receiving in the best of all worlds would be about 800,000. And so this new Build for Massachusetts infrastructure would guarantee a low interest loan managed by Mass Development once we have the federal funds in hand. The only other update really is, as the town accountant had alluded, they're working on the year-end closeout for the fiscal year that we now all see in the rearview mirror, but it's not yet closed. The deadline for that is the end of August. And both the treasurer as well as the town accountant are working in conjunction with our contracted accounting firm who are stepping down their role as the town accountant steps more into the role. In keeping with budgets, though, I was delighted to have the advisory chair and the town accountant and I met and we started scoping out what the process will be for fiscal 28, and got a lot of good feedback from Matt, whom you've met earlier. And I look forward to beginning the budget process. Not quite yet, but soon. And that's pretty much all that I have.
There was one thing that you had included in the text of your TA report related to the Alta.
Yes.
So I just thought, I know Bill and I have probably been able to see the data that you had included, but the public might be interested in knowing because we do have some initial statistics about what percentage of the units there have been leased so far. And then also as a reminder, there's going to be like a traffic signal analysis that gets triggered when you reach, I think, 80%
Right.
occupancy. So do you want to just share where we are?
Sure. I can share, I will share verbally that 60% of the affordable units have been leased as of the end of July. In terms of the market units, approximately 49% of the market units are leased. If you sort of combine those two cohorts together, they're about half, slightly over half leased. I received these stats from the planning director as she's continuing to monitor their progress and monitor all of the linkage items that remain in the comprehensive permit.
Great, thank you. Bill, did you have any questions for Marie?
I do not know.
Okay. I see that Eric Nyland, who's the chair of the EDC, is here. Eric, do you know, and obviously Alan also, who's a member, do you know how many members are planning to attend this evening?
I see Kristen DeJean, I think is on as well. So it's probably those three.
Oh,
So
great.
Amy is going to try and join around 7:45, but she wasn't sure whether she could.
Okay. We can hold off for another few minutes.
I mean, it's up to you.
I just don't want to get too far down the path of the discussion if it turns out other folks will be here. So I might just give it another two or 3 minutes. Jenny, sorry, I'm having trouble toggling back through the list of people that are here. Danielle Bradbury hasn't arrived yet. Sorry, you're muted.
Nope, she has not come into the meeting yet.
Okay. Marie, was there anything else that we could
You could do public service announcements. Should the board have public service announcements?
You'll have to remind me whether I don't think I do. Bill, do you have any?
The obvious one, the Bolton Fair, starts Friday at noon, and I believe it runs through the evening on Sunday.
And the senior cookout.
Oh,
Is
yes.
Tuesday.
Sorry. The senior cookout is Tuesday, next Tuesday, at Slater's. And the last number that I heard, we have 75 RSVPs, so pretty good turnout. We're hoping for good weather there, and I would like to say thank you to Slater's for being very supportive of that event over the years. They've been very helpful and very generous, and it's always been a well-run event.
Yep, for sure.
I actually have a question on Alta that you just talked about. Do we have any indication, or do we ever get the information of like how many school-age children per unit are coming in? I know originally like what the estimate was. I was just wondering if it tracked or not, or we don't really get that.
Marie, just a verbal, just in case people can't see.
We have not received that.
Just to add to that, Alta can't, hi, this is Pam Harding. Alta can't collect age of residence
Right.
through rental agreements. So
Well, I was just wondering if
the
like
way we can track that is through the town census, and we don't have that information in yet.
Yeah, I didn't know like through the school if we just saw. I mean, yeah, it was just a point of interest is all.
Well,
because I know like the EDC at one point had studied along with the planning board like different types of houses and the percentage of kids per houses, and I was just interested if it tracked or not, especially with the housing plan open. It's just interesting to know like 4-bedroom colonial versus townhouse versus like if the school age kid per bedroom kind of is tracking the data. It's an interesting number to have probably for that report.
Yep. Well, it is now 7:45, so I think we can officially turn to our next agenda item, which is we had invited in the Economic Development Committee for a discussion of really their goal setting process in light of master plan goals. So I think that basically what we were hoping we could do this evening is something not dissimilar to what the select board did a couple meetings ago for itself, which was to basically look at the year ahead and try to identify a handful of like high level priorities that we're going to try to tackle over the course of the coming year. What the EDC is thinking ought to be some of your top priorities for the coming year in light of the master plan goals and implementation plan. So I speak only for myself. I don't have any preconceived notions of where we end up with this. It's really a discussion. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, so I know Pam put together some slides that we worked on just to kind of like give you an overview of what the EDC kind of does work on, if you wanted me to talk through that. And then Kristen or Alan, if you jump in at any point when I'm talking, that's no problem. Should I share? Should I share, or did you guys get that?
Jenny can normally enable screen sharing for whomever would like to share.
I have it up and ready to go.
Okay, cool. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, just go to the next page, Pam, or whoever's controlling it.
It's not responding. Hold on 1 second.
I thought you said it was ready to go.
It was. There we go.
Okay. Oh, is it like, okay, it's popping up. Yeah, so, you know, for a small group of people, so just for a little bit of history, the EDC, I think we started back in like 2012, maybe 2011. And I've been on there since then. And originally we started to like, I think we were working on like TIFs, I think tax incentive plans. I think that's kind of why it was started originally. But really in the past 5 to, I don't know, 10 years, we've done some like really heavy looking into economic, you know, issues. And like for instance, we did a study on Main Street and public infrastructure, looking at how it could help that district residentially and for the few small businesses we have and into the future. Looking at, you know, how many gallons per day, et cetera, per bedroom, and looking at that. I mean, so we presented that to the select board. So we've done stuff like that. But really in the past 5 years, we've really been acting as kind of like Bolton's kind of like chamber of commerce, so to say. We've really been trying to connect the community businesses, well, the businesses in town to the community. And we do that in a bunch of different ways. Like our social media, our Destination Bolton page, we have, Kristen can update me on the numbers, but I think we probably have a couple of thousand followers. And if we put out like original data, like when Amy puts out a video or something, I mean, we definitely get thousands of views of that. And Kristen's really good at sharing information. So if we put out a story about, say, Kitchen Sink Candle Company, you know, she shares it to all the region, basically. So we get really good eyes and on that. Like, for instance, like, you know, the Bolton Barber has some post or something, we share it, and, you know, we get pretty good eyes within the community on it. So yeah, sorry, you can go back to the first page, Pam. I know I was jumping around. So another thing we do is we do like the holiday wreath program, where a business donates a wreath to the town, and then, you know, we put those up, and with the help of the DPW, and we post in the paper which communities donated to that. So it's just another way for the community, for the businesses to connect to the community. We designed and managed that Welcome to Bolton sign, which I noticed the light is working on again. I don't know, Pam, if you had somebody go out and work on it, that's great. unless it just started working randomly. But so there's like a yearly maintenance fee, to keep that up, and there's like an initial upfront cost to create the sign. If you've seen the sign, there's like a business side, a farm side, and a community in the middle, like where the town buildings are and stuff like that. Way back when, like 10 years ago, there was a whole like wayfinding grant study that we did, which, if like when you go to like the Cape and stuff like that, they have like, there's not like individual signs. It's kind of like a themed sign, so that was kind of like part of that overall picture, is this wayfinding. So you don't have like a bunch of like random signs on a corner, like pointing down Wattaquadock Road. So, we manage that. Backyard Bolton is a way that, and this takes a lot of effort to put on. I know Brian's been there. Everybody's mostly been there, but it's a way, Bolton, we're a small town. We do have some businesses, but like there's a lot of in-home businesses, and just, it's a way to highlight small and in-home businesses. And it's like a nice community event where it's basically free. It is free for people in town, people out of town who want to come and have a booth. It's like $25 per booth, which is quite cheap compared to what other fairs use. But like, it's a good spot where the community comes out. We have like I kind of call it community alley, where near the pavilion there, like there's different community groups. So that's another way where we try to connect small businesses. Originally, we called it a farmer's market, but the farms in town, which we'll get to this, the farms in town, they all have farm stands. And if they're going to go to like a farmer's market, they're not going to also do it inside Bolton. So it kind of turned more into like a craft fair and community event. But yeah, okay, you can go to the next page.
And I did want to add, Eric, that
Yeah.
last time we had it, the Kitchen Sink Candle Company said it was one of their best candle bar days ever.
Right. Yeah. There was so many people in the area because of this that they, reap the benefits of just the traffic, the walking traffic, which, more events in the town center can help those businesses and, wherever we end up in the future. So promotion of new business. So yeah. So when new businesses come into town, Amy Belowitz does an amazing job of going there and interviewing them. And so basically you have like a personal connection of this business to the community. And that gets, Kristen shares that all over the place. I kind of talked about the rest of this, all the different promotions of posts and stuff like that. And also with Kristen being a member of the EDC, we have a good link to the Bolton Independent. So that's been really helpful to get like event information out there and like sharing who donated to the wreaths, etc. So we also maintain, you jumped ahead, but we also maintain like a master business list and inventory that we've been, just getting the business certificates isn't really enough. We have to like maintain that list in our contact list. And one thing we've talked about this coming year is like just basically dividing this up and everybody kind of having like, your group of businesses that you touch base a couple times a year and see how things are going, see if there's any bylaws in town that are hindering their business, or if there's any way, anything to do that can improve their environment, their business environment in the town. And then also once or twice a year, we've been hosting business gatherings. We take turns at different businesses. We've been at Slater's, we went to Oak and Orchard last time. We've been all over, like even like many years ago, we did it at Paragon. We've done it all over and had different local businesses catering it. And it's a great opportunity for people on the town, volunteers in town government and local business owners to get together and outside of like a formal gathering to kind of like just talk and like, how can things improve? What issues do you see? And for other business owners to get together and share ideas. So if anybody here has been to that, it's definitely a very positive event. Getting more into the nuts and bolts of things and moving forward, which is probably why you wanted us here, and sick of hearing me ramble. But like, so the Main Street Economic Development Corridor, so the master plan action items, looking at Main Street. So one thing, and we're an advisory board, of course. So and we try to help the planning board and select board, ZBA, if they need us. But, we've looked at changes to the mixed use district to encourage development, different types of zoning bylaws that will help with development. The Forbush Mill expansion area, I guess is what we're calling it. The planning board is working on basically rezoning, or not rezoning. I would call it an overlay, I guess, because the underlying zoning won't change. But like, we're looking at, if you know the area, the Tadmore development partitioned off their business zone, which wraps around the DPW, and the DPW and all Frank Chiodo's land, which is like the old Dagnall Lifters, and he owns land behind that. And all the way up into including the solar fields. Because, we're not just thinking about today, we're thinking about 20 years down the road, eventually that will be decommissioned. So what we're doing, the planning board, and with the help of the Economic Development Committee, is we're looking at that whole area and how we can cohesively develop that area as a modern business zone. And so we're building things into it, such as shared infrastructure. We're changing kind of like lot coverages and frontages and side setbacks. Parking, we're allowing for like shared parking. We're trying to create an area that we can have a more vibrant business development in that area, especially. And one thing Alan is going to be working on is like the development coming in Lancaster, right on the border of Bolton there. There's going to be a lot of new residents in that area. There's going to be some mixed use also there, but to have a business zone on that Forbush Mill area, especially being kind of like a gateway to Bolton, and not being like, I mean, like, this is kind of like thinking, way ahead, but, if we didn't have like, as you come into Bolton, like the DPW being front and center, if we had a nice cottage style, like business development, where it's not just strip malls, but, it's an inviting space with more entertainment-based businesses like restaurants, et cetera, which, if they share water, because right now nobody really has, or not, there's not like public wells there. So, as with any business development, the infrastructure is really, it's, people talk about taxes and all this, but it's really infrastructure. Businesses, if there's no public infrastructure, it's really hard to get a business in town. It's difficult on the larger scale. Land use table change, that's fine. You could still flip it. We looked at the land use table with the planning board and trying to like improve that. And there's a lot of there was a lot of gray areas in the land use table change, which when it comes to the planning board, like we have to follow the bylaw. And if somebody's coming for something, it doesn't really state it like the way it was before. It left out a lot of things, and like we had to like kind of like, gray areas are tough. We have to kind of, if it falls outside of the bylaw, it's tough to see us. So we tried to improve that, and the EDC helped improve that land use table. One thing I really want to look at is the industrial zone, especially, and it's another thing that Alan, like we have some, like Alan's a new member, and he's really interested in economic development. So he's going to like head a subcommittee on the EDC that will talk with the Lancaster development and talk with like the Stowe Economic Development Committee and the Learning Academy. I forget what it was the exact Masters Academy.
Oh yeah, the Masters Academy.
Right. Yeah. So we have this industrial zone land, which right now I don't think restaurants is allowed in industrial zone. I think we just did add like brew pub, but like, whether it's a hotel, do parents coming in from the Masters Academy need a hotel to stay? Like there's, on the south side of 117 to the east of Cobham, or, the HVAC company and the doggy daycare there. There's a lot of land there that could be developed. It's recently been subdivided by the planning board, but like, some type of businesses that can work with the Masters Academy there would probably be pretty beneficial.
Hey, Eric.
Yep.
Let me just interrupt for 1 second. Thank you for the kind of summary of some of the key priorities over the past few years. I think that's been really helpful. I just have a question about the slide that we're looking at now,
Yep.
and this might be a
Yeah.
question for Pam as well. The slide that we're looking at now, to me, reads as like sort of maybe more forward-looking, or the things that
Right.
you're planning. So is that an accurate, like this working with the committee to make the agricultural map interactive? That's something you're looking maybe to do this
Yep.
year, as well as these other goals. Is that right?
Yeah. So, I mean, as you know, the agricultural committee was just recently formed. So the EDC hopes to really work closely with them as a way, because a major portion of Bolton's business is farming and agriculture based, and a way to bring people into town for whatever apple picking, and so but even like the small scale farms, to, we were thinking, if we could generate some type of map or interactive map where, small farms can like post what's available when and where it is, and up to from the small farms to the bigger farms like Bolton Spring, and like Nishway and stuff like that. Really, really trying to guide Bolton residents and regional residents to these farms, because everybody loves the farms, and we want to keep them in business. So, however we can work with and support the agricultural committee on that side of things. Also, when it comes to like the business side of things, like, and this is like out of my wheelhouse, but if there's any type of zoning, or I know one thing, like Jay's at Neshoba Valley, there's the accessory to a farm, which is, I think it has to be like 20 acres. Maybe there's a 10-acre farm that wants to have some type of like supplemental accessory business, like, just areas like that where we can support farms and agriculture, thinking outside the box. Yeah. So that's one thing. And then, so I sort of touched on this and like the future development. So the Forbush Mill area. So we want to just like you guys have the Tri-Town meeting. It would be great to get the economic development committees of Stowe and Boxborough and Harvard, get them together and be like, regionally, how could we work together and promote each other's businesses, especially along the border? This is something we want to start. So we were talking about the logistics of, do we send out a representative, or do we try to have joint meetings? So we're going to figure that over the next few months of how we can work on that, especially when it comes to like the Masters Academy. So it would be great to talk to Stowe and see how we can work with each other for that area of our town and their town.
Yeah, they have an EDIC that they're looking to put together their businesses a whole list, to try to have it prepared, which I think we should also do. I think my feeling is they're looking to do a regional EDIC, or theirs is the EDIC. Ours, what I think we should be doing is getting together as many services and businesses as we can to kind of combine it, or ask them if we can create an extra list. They have their own Stowe business list. Of course, they're going to want to give to Masters, and that's what they're working on. I feel like we should also be working on the same thing where we literally, almost like a welcome packet to Bolton, for this group, because it's not, excuse me, lose my voice a little bit. It's not just the students. So there's going to be about 300 students like to start, and they have a ribbon cutting September 15th. And I know Marie and they've met with some of the people, but it's happening September 15th. And I feel like we should probably have some type of welcome list, or at least a full list of services and businesses that could actually help out. For instance, the new dentist here in Bolton, they're going to need dental, they're going to need these services that probably will spill over beyond Stowe. I mean, obviously Stowe will benefit the most, but we might be able to help complement. And I can talk to Denise, their town administrator. And I know I know that they've had meetings as well. But I'm curious to see what they're doing as far as their list goes and how we can complement it. Because the other thing the students are coming in about 300, 75% of them are boarders. So they're going to be on campus. They're not necessarily, it's not going to be this, from the student perspective, it's not going to be this massive glut of students. Like we're not going to see, suddenly become Amherst or anything crazy. So you're going to have some students that stay on campus. But what's interesting is that they have a new baseball field, and they're going to be putting up a four-court basketball, don't quote me, but four-court basketball complex is the next plan. So that's still going through permissions, but the baseball field is finished. And so they're going to be having games and things like that. And I believe Peter Masters said that the public could come and watch. I mean, it was sort of tentative. I'm not sure. It is a school, so we can't just assume that there's going to be public. But there will be people coming into town for these games and tournaments. I believe there might be 35 baseball tournaments. There's going to be a lot of weekend tournaments between volleyball, basketball, and baseball, is my understanding. I can get details, but I think the long and short of it is we should really have some type of complimentary list so that we make sure that, if somebody needs a dentist, they can see the atlas, or they can see, if somebody needs a barber, here's Bolton's list, and here's how you can contact these people ASAP. And in fact, put it with your give it to Masters as part of the Bolton angle, if people need services. So I feel like that should be kind of a priority to get that done by September.
One thing to add on, sorry, Brian, one thing to add on top of that is, like Mike Murphy used to be on the Bolton EDC, and he was also on the Marlborough EDC. Of course, not comparing Bolton to Marlborough, but one thing, like, they have like their sports complex. So they really built up business around that. And like, as like a standard retail business isn't really super viable, in this day and age. So kind of having like an entertainment service type, complex is, potentially so, like supporting that type of like entertainment type business is like how we should be thinking moving forward. I even know like the, the Kane property, which that's southeast of the 495 and 117 intersection, like, that would probably be a great location for like a sports complex. I don't know if that's like oversaturated in this area or not, but like, like you look at like the Apex and those type of like, newer developments, it's not a standard like, TJ Maxx type retail development. So that's things we probably need to think.
Thanks. And thanks, Kristen, for chiming in on the Masters piece. I also just want to be mindful of how we're doing on time, because we have a couple other.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I'll ramble forever.
No, it's okay. But I want to make sure Bill can chime in too. I mean, I think one of the things that I was hoping to get out of at least tonight's conversation is just a sense of like where your focus may be for the coming year. And I'm starting to get that. But Bill, do you have any comments or questions you'd like to raise?
Yeah, the one question I have is around Backyard Bolton. Do you anticipate any changes to Backyard Bolton, and do you solicit feedback from presenters in a standard format?
Yeah, I mean, well, I wouldn't say standard. It's more like we go around and talk to people. But like we are actually just going down to one in the fall, because when we started it out like 10 years ago or 9 years ago, whatever it was, there wasn't really much going on. But now like seems like every single farm and every has like all these events. So we feel like it's a little saturated and the customer base has kind of gone away. But like those other events are high ticket venues for like vendors. So we wanted to have the opportunity for people in town to have the free opportunity to present their products to town. So we're going to do, moving forward, we're going to do one in the spring and one in the fall. And I think, yeah, so I think we're going to try that just because I don't know if you guys remember, but there was like a farmer's market in Harvard. But what happens is you either get too many vendors or too many customers. If it doesn't like align, it kind of falls apart fast. Like if people like don't have a reason to go, or if vendors aren't happy with it, you know, it falls apart. So we want to make sure it doesn't fall apart. So we're going to go to one event. But to talk about the future, like, because I know you guys want to move on. You know, we've come before the select board in the past. We're open and willing to take, we're an advisory board. So anything the planning board, a select board, or ZBA, or whoever really wants us to look at, you know, we have 7 people who are interested in that area of things, and we're willing to go out and do it. I know we've been looking at like supporting the planning board on their most recent bylaws. Like I said, over the past 5 years, we haven't really been asked as much to do stuff. So we kind of like went the kind of like Chamber of Commerce way route. But like, you know, if the select board has particular things you want us to investigate. The thing is, we don't like, I see things from the planning board's perspective and this perspective, like, and I don't want a board to completely duplicate work that another board is doing. Like, that's not worth everybody's time. But if you see something that's useful for the EDC to do, as an advisory board, we're happy to do it. And I think we have a really great crew right now of people that are interested in working on it. Alan being the newest, he's super gung-ho. He wants to lead every subcommittee, and so he's ready to go.
You're not telling them anything they don't know.
You know, I had an opportunity to watch, I think maybe it was your most recent meeting, and it's clear you do have a lot of great members with a lot of great ideas and good energy. And so I don't have in my head a list of specific things that I'm like, oh gosh, the EDC must do that. But I've heard some good ideas from you tonight, Eric, in the slides that Pam prepared. And I guess before we move on to our next item in a minute or two, was wondering if other members of the EDC wanted to share specific ideas that you think might be a priority for the year.
So I want to mention one thing which Eric did mention. So there's the development effort at the top of Forbush Mill with the planning board and everything. And there is the DCAM property in Lancaster, which is on Old Colony Road, but is really near Still River and Forbush Mill. So my expectation is the next couple of years, you're going to see 2 larger developments right on either side of Still River and Forbush Mill that we need to talk to Lancaster and, make sure that we know what they're doing so that, the planning board and the REDC doesn't get surprised by various things.
Yeah, I think the EDC over the next year, we really should try to, like, as Alan was saying, and he's brought this up in the meeting, is really touch base with our regional counterparts, really see how, like, what types of businesses in those particular areas, the Forbush Mill area and the industrial zone next to the Masters Academy, and even more along the 495 intersection, like, what will work there, like, realistically, and work with the planning board to implement that. And, I think that's our kind of like tasks.
Great. Well, let me make a suggestion, and it is just a suggestion, but I think I've found that the select board's annual goal setting exercise is helpful for 2 reasons. One, it's just an official time when we come together to talk bigger picture about, like, what do we want to focus on for the year ahead? But two, once we agree on it and we put it up on the select board section of the website, it actually helps us to remember to circle back to those goals on a regular basis. So my suggestion would be that if you guys as an EDC decide, like, come to a conclusion like, hey, there's these four priorities for the fiscal year, and they don't have to all be new. Some of it can be like maintaining and expanding on the success of Backyard Bolton, or however you want to frame it. But I would just consider like documenting it as a way to have something that you can cycle back to and
No,
monitor your
it's a
own
good point.
progress.
Yeah, we could even, we don't have to present it to you, but we can send it to you guys and,
Yeah.
Whether you
Oh,
just
great.
review it offline, and give feedback, that's fine.
That would be great. I'd love that.
Yeah. Well,
Bill,
thank you for letting us share kind of what we do.
Yeah, no, thanks. And again, like, everybody's a volunteer. I know Pam's not a volunteer, but she works her butt off. So thank you to those of you who volunteer for this and who support it. So I know it's a lot of work.
Yeah. Yep. Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks for taking time out to be here. And I know you're on busy schedules, so we really appreciate it.
Thanks
you.
for your time, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. Shannon.
We are now going to cycle back, and I'll just apologies to Danielle if oh no, there you are. I see Danielle Bradbury.
Hi.
Hi, sorry to make you wait.
That's okay. No worries at all. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good, thank you.
So you are here this evening because you have a really fun and interesting idea about a way to memorialize the incredible success of our young baseball players.
That is correct. Yeah,
So could you just explain what it is that you have in mind?
sure. Jenny, I don't know if you have the ability to share the image or not.
Yep, I could do that.
Be great. So in essence, in addition to the soccer board, I'm also on the baseball and softball board. Our baseball team has had incredible success winning 4 state championships over the past couple of years.
Wow.
So we really wanted to memorialize these kids, celebrate their success. I think there's a little glitch to the picture, but as you can see, when they were in 8U 2022, they won the Western Mass State Championship. For the New England region, they break Massachusetts up into Western and Eastern. And so we've been able to win Western 4 times since 2022, which is pretty exciting. And then when we get to regionals, the looks on everybody's faces are, where are you from? So it's a pretty big accomplishment. Granted, the All-Stars team is made up of Bolton and Lancaster players, but it is 95% Bolton players. And so I think being in the middle of the district in Bolton, it makes sense to place this sign somewhere visible where everybody can see it and celebrate it. And I think it would give an opportunity for the younger kids that are coming up through the program to see this and just look up to these kids and really strive for that kind of caliber of baseball. Here we go.
Great. Thank you. I know this is kind of the first time for us as a board to start thinking about this and considering it. Do you have even like a rough timeline in mind for when you would like there to be a decision on this, if possible, Danielle?
I mean, to be honest, we're just grateful that you're even considering it at this point. And we don't have anything like this in town. So I had discussed this with our new president, Mike Coviello, and the coach who has been the winningest coach, Coach Santos. And we were just talking about the possibility of doing this. We really don't have a timeline in mind. We would just love the ability, the approval, and then the green light to be able to do this. So we're not going to press for any type of timeline.
Great. That's super helpful. I mean, I can share with you my own personal view on the idea. I think it's a lovely idea. I'd love to find a way to make it work. I also think I'd love to make sure that we have the input from relevant folks within town, like our DPW director, our chief of police, just in terms of, when there's a big sign that might vary from normal sign limits, you want to be mindful about where it's placed while balancing like visibility so that everybody sees it, but also making sure it doesn't interfere with other public safety and traffic needs. Marie, I guess question to you is, would there be a way to kind of socialize this idea with other department heads within town to get their feedback on appropriate location?
Sure, I could do that. I think the questions would be, I know there'd been a discussion of having it more centrally located on the common, but thinking maybe Memorial Field, as that's where folks are playing, would be a better location, because I think some of the department head feedback might vary based on where, and what view is being obstructed. And then any information in terms of dimension of the sign would be helpful.
So I did submit general dimensions, so about 70 inches high, which would then allow, hopefully, for more additions of years to be added underneath it, and anywhere from 24 to about 30 inches wide. And we knew we were being ambitious by asking for the town common, but our second request would probably be closer to Memorial Field, which, to your point, Marie, makes sense.
Okay.
Bill?
I think it's a great idea, and I would love to see it. I thought it was very helpful when we were considering the sign for the new dental office to have a mock-up, which Randy requested. That just gives, reading dimensions is one thing, but seeing it, just even a cardboard mock-up in the location, really helps visualize what it would look like.
And just to be clear, Danielle, mock-up could sounds maybe potentially even more formal, but if you watch the video with the dental office, it was really just like a couple basic polls with like a sheet to show, right? The visual impact, but not like it wasn't like their design was out there or anything.
Okay.
And it helps us see from a safety standpoint, visibility of pulling out of various areas. Or something like that. So,
okay.
Okay, so I don't think we necessarily need to take any formal action on this tonight, except just to confirm, Marie, that I would like for some discussions to happen with DPW and police chief.
And requesting then I can work with Danielle to get a ideal location just for a mock-up. So photograph and get feedback from the public safety.
Yeah, maybe Danielle, if you're able to take a photograph on roughly where in the area of the town common you had envisioned, but also where on Memorial Field, I think you said was sort of your number two. But like where roughly you would envision it, that would be helpful.
Okay, I can do that.
All right. Well, thank you. I think again, and congratulations to everybody who helped make this success possible. It's great.
Yep, they're a great group of kids. So we're excited for them, for their high school years. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
All right. Thank you, Danielle. Have a good evening.
You too.
Okay. We are a little overdue on public comment, but it is now 8:24. And if anybody is here for public comment, please raise your Zoom hand. Not seeing anything. Great. I believe that we have covered the town administrator report, and we have also covered public service announcements for the select board. So now in our select board business, I guess any future agenda items that you wanted to flag, Bill?
No.
Okay. And then select board reports. I think you may have an update on the keep the lights on.
Yeah, this is just a placeholder just so that I stay on task. I have a call scheduled with Next Gen Energy on Monday with the CFO, and there is some good news they have told me, so I will find out the details on Monday and have a report definitely by next meeting. So that's the only update so far.
Okay, thank you. All right, and then there would be a vote to execute amended license to the International Beverage Service Company, LLC. We have it in our packets. Sorry. I had it in my packet and now I'm forgetting. Okay, there we go.
Page 24.
PDF, yeah. You know what? Yeah, I had two versions of that open. Okay, so we have a motion to amend the license, and basically what it is to amend the on-premises club license to the International Beverage Service Company, LLC, so that they have additional hours of operation to include the 9 a.m. to noon time on Sundays, basically taking advantage of the recent bylaw change. Right, Jenny?
Correct.
Okay, so Bill, did you have any questions?
I do not know.
Okay, so I would entertain a motion to issue an amended annual all alcoholic beverage on premises club license to the International Beverage Service Company, LLC, at 159 Ballville Road with additional hours of operation to include 10 a.m. to noon on Sundays per Mass General Law, Chapter 138, Section 33B.
So moved.
And I'll second that. Roll call, Bill.
Yes.
And I'm also a yes. Thanks for making that easy on us, Jenny. We have a vote on the state 2026 state primary. We have a copy of that warrant in our packets. Bill, have you had an opportunity to review that? It's the one on page P of page 23.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So is there a motion to approve the warrant as presented in our packets for the 2026 state primary?
So moved.
And I will second that. Roll call, Bill.
Yes.
And I'm also a yes. And Jenny, you'll let us know if there's a drop dead date for the signing of this.
Yeah, I can let you know. It'll be in the yellow folder tonight.
Great.
So if you wanted to come by and get ahead of it, you can.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, next up was voting on the select board and town administrator goals for FY 27. One, I guess, point of order is that when we had our last goal setting meeting, I believe it was Kate, who obviously can't be here this evening, but I think she had volunteered to kind of circle back and consolidate what we ended up deciding would be the goals, but I don't think I actually saw that document yet. So Marie, you took yourself off mute.
Oh, I was just wondering, because I don't know if that had gone back out to the board members. Would you like to vote on the town administrator goals and address the select board goals in September?
Yeah, I think we can just
Yeah.
do that on the 10th. So did you want to just verbally remind folks what your proposed goals are?
Sure. For the town administrator, it's a continuation of working on financial forecasting with the advisory chair as well as the town accountant, and backstopping advisory in their public information sessions. Another aspect would be to evaluate the value of any budget software tools in conjunction with advisory, and the advisory chair and I have been in contact regarding that for potentially a recommendation to the board for fiscal 28. The Inventive in Fungal is evaluating the AI tool at use and acquisition for municipal operations. The state is also working on looking at group purchasing of AI tools. Ideally, we would be then developing guidelines similar to what other towns have developed to basically a do's and don'ts of things, ways that one could be using AI and ways in which one would be careful with the use of AI. So I would be coming forward with a proposal to the board in terms of how town staff could use AI, what would be acceptable, and things to be aware of in terms of data privacy. Third is police department accreditation, which is a tricky thing for me to say. Working with the chief of police to determine whether the town will move forward. The chief and I have already met. He is working towards certification. There's a tricky word game here too. He's working towards certification. It's a lower tier of accreditation. The entity that does the accreditation, the Mass Police Accreditation Council, as of January 2027, we'll be calling certification, accreditation, and what is currently called accreditation will be called advanced accreditation. Regardless, we're going to evaluate. Yeah, it's a maze of twisty passageways. Regardless, we'll be identifying what resources are necessary as we step through this process, and also at the high level to come up with a cost-benefit analysis. Approximately half of the municipalities in Massachusetts are certified through this entity, and so it bears thought. Those are the town administrator goals at a high level.
Yep. Bill, any comments?
No, those align with what we discussed, so those are great.
Yeah, I think this is great. I like the breakdown by quarter. I think everybody needs to remember, basically anybody who's watching this at home, that we're on a fiscal year. So when you see Q1, it's actually July through September, not January. So with that in mind, Marie, I think we may want to consider having a standing agenda item for our select board meeting, town administrator goal
Update.
update.
Yeah, update on progress. Yeah.
But especially with the Q1 thing, and the reason I'm mentioning it is it just strikes me that under the AI goal, we would be reviewing a proposed, do's and don'ts policy sometime between now and the end of September.
I have collected 6 municipalities' AI policies. Yes. And,
Great.
Yes.
Okay, good.
It's en route.
And like I said in our last meeting, I'm happy to be a sounding board on this stuff too. Okay. So I would, do we need a motion to approve these, or we'll just say it looks good, Marie?
Sure. At the pleasure of the board.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the town administrator goals for FY27 as laid out here.
I second that.
Roll call, Bill.
Yes.
And I'm also a yes. And then once we've approved our select board goals, we can put the PDFs up like we did last year.
Okay.
Great. Thank you for that, Marie. Next, we have the review and approval of the compensatory time policy, which you had shared with us at a prior meeting. Right, I'm not misremembering that.
Right, you're not misremembering. I think in the earlier packet, I'd only put in the existing 2019 policy, but you may have seen revisions and the like. What you have in your packet is the 2019 policy, the revised comp time policy, and the personnel bylaw for the town of Bolton. The most notable change is it spells out individuals who are exempt, FLSA exempt. The salaried folk are not eligible for comp time, but in effect, though, please be responsible if you are working unduly long hours. Using the example potentially of the planning director, balance your time. So there's that. The second aspect is we are obviously following the Fair Labor Standards Act, where if you're working over 40 hours in a week, you are eligible for time and a half. But clarifying, if you're working more than your usually scheduled hours, since we have some staff who are between 20 and 40 hours a week, and if you're slated for 22 hours and you end up working 23 hours, one could be eligible for either being paid out but you would be paid out at straight time, or, balancing within that pay period or work week, rejiggering one's hours.
Yep. Okay, well, I would entertain a motion to approve the newly proposed compensatory time policy.
So moved.
And I'll second that. Roll call, Bill.
Yes.
And I'm also a yes. Next, we have an update regarding the Forbush culvert number 1.
Right. Just to recap for the board, as you've noticed that Forbush culvert number 1 had been and continues to be on the TA update. In January of 2026, the engineers who are working on it had highlighted that their next step in this process of filing the notice of intent was stymied until we'd secured easements from the owner. The indications that we'd had following council drafting deeds was that the owner would sign off on the easements. The DPW director has been working assiduously to get the property owner's agreement, but it hasn't yet received a solid response. I think at the last meeting, maybe the meeting prior, of announcing the $1.8 million grant that we've secured for the complete coverage of the construction cost. The grant does have a stipulation, though, that we will have completed the culvert by the end of 2027, calendar 2027, and we've already filed our paperwork so that we can start that process. Similar to a roadway drainage project in the past for Spectacle Hill, just wanted to give an overview that per our council, the select board can take easements for roadway drainage without the town meeting vote under a section of Mass General Law for the easements necessary to carry out the drainage work. And that due to the earmark that was secured by Representative Hogan, we have monies available to cover the appraisal costs and any award of damages as part of the overall project. I would like, in order to meet that end of December 2027 deadline, to get the board's authorization to start the process, appraise the temporary and the permanent easements, to determine damages so that we can secure those, and Forbush Culvert 1 can proceed apace.
Yep, makes sense. So thanks for laying that out. I would entertain a motion to authorize the town administrator to obtain an appraisal to determine damages for the purposes of securing the permanent and temporary easements for Forbush culvert number 1.
So moved.
And I'll second that. Roll call, Bill.
Yes.
And I am also a yes. Thank you, Marie. Next up, it was the consideration of the sticker recommendation from the transfer station committee. Is that right?
That is correct. And we have the chair of the Transfer Station Committee here tonight.
So, Marie, do you want to give a background or should I?
Well, I can give the briefest of overviews, which is we are diligently working to operationalize the select board's goal that the stickers will be required as of January 1. We'd investigated a couple of different approaches for that, going to super high tech. Cameras are maybe not as cool these days, as well as super low tech. Fill out a piece of paper and bring it into the town hall. And we believe that we've found a sweet spot between the two, using the vendor who currently processes our motor vehicle excise payments, since everyone who goes to the transfer station must have a vehicle. So that was the setup. That vendor does perform, it's sort of the soup to nuts for acquiring a transfer station sticker. You know, the order entry, the order fulfillment, the processing of the checks of residency and the like, the sticker fulfillment, and mailing it back to the resident. The hurdle on that is that it is $4 we are charged per sticker,
Okay.
not per transaction. So with that as the setup, I turn it over
That's
to
good.
Paula.
So, Jenny, do you have the recommendation handy? Although
like
you
Jenny-
disappeared. So,
Jenny stepped away for a minute.
So, basically, Marie set up a demo where she and I and Jenny and Leslie attended, and we had a discussion. And out of that, it turned out that we wanted to propose a minor modification to you. I presented that modification at the Monday Transfer Station Committee meeting, and the 4 people who were there agreed to that as something to present to you. So as you can see, originally $50 for 2 stickers if you're a non-senior, and if you're a senior, $25 for 2 stickers. We have changed that proposal slightly to $50 for the first sticker, $5 for the second sticker, and in the offhand chance that somebody would like a third sticker, another $50. And then for seniors, $25 for 1 sticker, $5 for a second sticker, and $5 for a replacement sticker with proof of replacement. Now, the reason we're proposing that is it is possible that somebody gets their first sticker and is not sure that they want a second sticker. What this proposal allows is for them to come back into the system and ask for that second sticker at a later time. And the reason for the $5 charge is that it'll cover the $4 transaction fee. So we're thinking to give residents more flexibility and not having to decide 1 or 2 cars right out of the bat, we would do this and basically cover a second transaction if the second car showed up later.
The system logic will track it. Yes,
Yeah.
so you could order a sticker in September for your household. It looks up your vehicle plate, your garage of residency, and then in November, it's what everyone in your household wants to do for their car, and
Just-
that would calculate as the second sticker for the car garaged at that address.
And it sounds like this is something that this vendor does for other communities.
They
Something
do it. An example would be the Town of Acton site. It is vendors called City Hall Systems. So if you go to the Town of Bolton site and click pay, and you're interested in paying your real estate tax bill or your excise bill, that will then take you directly to City Hall Systems. Same vendor. Yeah.
And then on the, could you just explain for the replacement $5 for 1 sticker with proof of replacement, what do you have contemplated there?
So-
Like,
you have a damaged windshield, you replace the windshield and your sticker goes with it. You sell your car and the sticker goes with it. We just want to cover once again, cover the transaction fee. We'll know that something happened because you've already bought the sticker. And
Yep.
we just want to charge $5 to cover the transaction fee.
Yep. Okay. Sounds reasonable to me. Bill?
Yeah, I think this pricing is very reasonable. I think it's a well thought out plan.
Just as one additional thing, the committee is working on a document to explain stickers in general, but we'll also work on a document on how to use City Hall systems. So hopefully, if you read these documents, you'll understand what's going on and you'll understand how to interact with the system.
That's great to hear, Alan. Do you think for those sort of supplementary materials that you're planning to produce, are there other things that you're going to want select board approval of, do you think? And the reason I'm asking is more for a question about tonight's agenda item that just says consider the recommendation. I don't know whether we were expected to vote on it tonight as well, or if you need us to vote on the recommendation tonight.
I don't need you to vote on it tonight. I do need you to vote on it sometime because I'm asking you to change something you voted on.
Yeah.
Also, one thing that we'll likely come back to you and ask you about is we're going to try and make this system available in December so that people can buy their stickers. One of the things that you get when you buy a sticker is they'll fill out the stickers and send them to you, but you'll also get a receipt and you'll get a temporary sticker so that you have that in case you really have to go to the transfer station before the mail shows up.
Okay.
That means that we will come back to you and ask whether somebody shows up after January 1st without a sticker, whether they're subject to a fine. Now, theoretically, if I read the document about fines, it says yes. So we will come back to you and say, did you really mean yes?
Okay.
And Alan, does this or Marie, does this vendor also handle reminder notices once someone has a sticker to remind them to get a new sticker?
In terms of annual renewal, I have not asked. I will ask them that. They do provide auto emails if something is rejected, like, oh, you're a tenant, or please provide proof and upload proof of your residency, or your car is leased. But we'll add that to my list of questions.
Yeah, one of the things that they suggest is that as we come close to the end of the year, that we stop selling this year's stickers so they can set up for selling next year's stickers so that they would be available. My expectation is that we would use whatever information that we've used first time around to remind people to look at their stickers.
Yeah.
Look into getting the next year's sticker.
Yeah, I was just curious if that would be handled with this vendor or if it's something the town would have to set up, like the dog licensing.
Oh, no, we would hope, but also, signage, education,
Yeah.
outreach,
Yeah.
do the right thing.
Okay.
Marie, would it be helpful for us to vote on anything tonight?
That would be helpful, because we're coming to the board as you'd set the prices and assign me the responsibility, working in conjunction with the committee to make it happen.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think we can consider and vote. So, Bill, do you want to make a motion to approve the modified sticker pricing recommendation from the transfer station committee?
Yes. So moved.
And I'll second that. Roll call, Bill.
Yes.
And I'm also a yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for thinking it through. All right, we've got bills/payroll warrants W27-03. I'd entertain a motion to approve warrant W27-03.
So moved.
And I'll second that. Roll call, Bill.
Yes.
And I'm also a yes. And then last but not least, I believe we have one set. Wow, Jenny's quick on the draw tonight. We're ready to see. I think it's the July 16th minutes with some edits. Okay. Is there a motion to approve the minutes as edited for July 17th, 2026?
So moved.
And I'll second that. Roll call, Bill.
Yes.
And I'm also a yes. Great. And with that, I think we can have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
And I'll second that. Roll call, Bill.
Yes.
I'm also a yes, and the time for the record is 8:51.